o'clock, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This conference will now be recorded.
Mary, will you take roll?
Murray?
Here.
Derek?
Yep.
Getzinger?
Here.
Grimby?
Here.
Swanky here.
At tonight's public hearing, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, but we want to follow a few rules. Everybody will be allowed to speak. I don't necessarily limit anybody to 5 minutes as long as they're not repetitive or personal. So I'd like to have you wait for my recognition, my acknowledgement before you speak. Give us your concerns and opinions on questions on the issues being discussed to ensure everyone has time to speak, that we can address other issues on tonight's agenda. We request that you limit the time to 5 minutes. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now in the public hearing for Armada Township. And I'd like to preface it by saying we're being asked for 2 dimensional variances on frontage for a parcel of property at the end of Heritage Lane, which consists of 40 acres, has 1 home on it. The owner would like to divide that home off on 5 acres and put 1 home on the remaining 35 acres. So that's the purpose of tonight's meeting, is to hear both pros and cons from the public. Anybody wish to share their opinion, the mic is yours.
Glenn Brimer from
Please.
71357 Heritage Lane. I have a statement if it was facilitated. Mary, did you want to read this into the record? The
Yeah,
email
I
or-
can read it.
Yeah, if you could do that.
Okay,
And then if
yeah.
there's a subsequent follow-up comment, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, all right.
Thanks.
My name is Glenn Brimer, and I reside at 71357 Heritage Lane, Armada Township, Michigan. I am in receipt of a registered letter notifying me of a public hearing regarding a variance request by applicant Mr. Hanson. Although the hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, April 20th, 22 at 7 p.m., I intend to appear, but if I am unable, I would like to express my concerns against the proposed variance due to the following reasons. Initially, we had our residence built, ironically, by this applicant in 2006, and at that time, I was assured by the applicant builder that Heritage Lane was constructed to county specifications and that the roadway Heritage Lane would be maintained by Macomb County Road Commission. Obviously, this was not the case, as the roadway is degrading constantly and has been maintained solely by the residents, who ensure that the roadway is plowed in the winter and cleared of debris at other times. Without the roadway completed and brought to county specifications and eventually maintained by the Macomb County Road Commission, I see no reason to further develop in the area. Additional development at this time would further degrade the roadway, with constant construction trucks and equipment traveling back and forth due to the fact that the initial roadway was not completed to county specifications and inspected by county officials. This would eventually cause more concerns with current area residents, not to mention any new arrivals should development continue, as the roadway will continue to degrade. Additional concerns regard the initial reason for those residents who built houses in this rural area, and in keeping that with the open and uncongested feeling. A smaller lot size would present the appearance of houses crammed next to each other and would be more consistent with the more congested urban areas that a majority of Armada Township residents moved away from, seeking the rural open areas. This smaller lot variance would place a new residence directly next to my existing house and would be closer to my residence than any of the other residents are in their respective lots within the neighborhood. Another concern would be considerations with the water table and the effect additional wells would have not only any new construction, but also on the existing water wells for the current residences in the area. I have no specific issues with the development in general, but under the proposal presented with this variance request, I see no reason to honor this request at this time. I would have no problem with any future development that is in compliance with township regulations and ordinances as originally intended, and which make this community a great place to reside.
Anybody else? Please.
name's Peter Wisniewski. I live on 71203 Heritage Lane, right down the street
How
from
do you
Mr.
spell your
Byron.
last name?
I'm sorry?
How do you spell your last name?
Wisniewski.
Thank you.
I've also been there since the house was new. I think it was 2006 when I moved in. I was also assured that the road there would be a county-maintained road, and it was for the first few years, and it got plowed every couple days and things like that, till all of a sudden one day, the sign went from green to blue. I called the township here. I was referred back to the road commission. The road commission referred me back to the township, blah, blah, blah. Said it was Mr. Hanson and his people, and nothing ever got resolved. That's my main problem with this. I was also told that this road would have a final course put on it when I moved in there. That was never done. The road is now degrading. Now we're talking about building more on it, and maybe more and more and more, and the same thing's gonna happen. With regards to the width of the lots, I think my lot at 165 is too narrow for how long it is. 111 is way too narrow, but that's just my opinion. I don't really have much comment on that, but it's mostly the road. The road itself is going down, and I don't need my life savings to have to pay for my road that I was assured. One of the reasons I bought my house on Heritage Lane was because of that county road. Because we looked around, a lot of roads were private, and I said, well, yeah, we gotta put all this money and blah, 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 and recourse it and this and that. Now, because the final course hasn't been done on that road, I heard it's over, maybe over $100,000 or more to fix that. And then more construction equipment coming down that road, just gonna tear it up more. And you think it's gonna get fixed at the end? I don't have good confidence in that, so. That's
Thank
it.
you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Kenneth G. Cook, 80575 Holmes Road, Armada Township. Got a bunch of questions. One, how come this didn't go to the zoning board of appeals? Because it's my understanding the process from citizens planner, of course, they took it when it was on the planning commission. It goes there if it's an issue about the zoning ordinance, and if it gets turned down there, then the applicant gets processed to come here to the township board. That's one question. The other one is, the variance, which we were taught at citizens planner, it has to be a hardship case, that something changed after the property owner bought the property, different ordinance requirements and that. But if it was stipulated at 165 when the development went in, there is no hardship. The person can, or owner can still sell the parcels at 165 road frontage as is. Because we were also informed, if you don't stick to your ordinances as written in that and keep on going for the whim of the owner or whoever the applicant is, you don't have an ordinance. Because it'd be nothing to challenge, because they can say that you never kept up with enforced your ordinances in the first place. So in my opinion, from a little bit I've been able to hear about it, there is no hardship case. Person can still sell lots at 165 feet or more, and that'd be it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Please.
My name is W.C. Trapp, T-R-A-P-P. I live on 71630 Coon Creek. And I have just a question. What are they gonna do, do you know what he's gonna do with the rest of the property there? He's got 40 acres.
Well, I spoke with the owner. He's gonna break the house off on 5 acres and build one home on the remaining 35 acres.
And that's it?
Yep.
He's all done? Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Hold on, Randy Scott.
Oh, whoops, okay. Well, I'm just curious because he said it was gonna be left open space once before. So what do you have guaranteed in writing? You have nothing that says he's just gonna build one more place, and who owns that road right now?
It's owned by a private developer.
Okay, so then the issue before was it wasn't getting plowed because it's not a county road. They had to pay for all the plowing themselves. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time. And when the developer had come before, it was because you had dropped the ball and not signed the road over to the county, is what was said. The township, you're sitting there smiling, but it's not funny, because Armada Township was pulled into a lawsuit because of that. So what guarantee do you have that he's not gonna wanna come back in 5 years and develop the rest of the property? Since, like Kenneth stated about the private road ordinance, this township does not have one. The whole reason, the only place that was allowed was if they kept an open space. That obviously isn't happening. So what guarantee do you have that he is not gonna put more homes in once he does this? It's just kind of like what the planning commission is working on. You're gonna give them a little bit here until they're done with that, and then they're gonna add on a little bit over here, and then a little bit more. So that is my public comment. You guys have nothing in writing that's gonna guarantee that. And it's been a private road for a long time, and that's been one of the big issues. Thank you.
Randy Finley, 20779, 32 Mile Road. On the private road, I sat on the planning commission when this actually went through. I believe this was, in my recollection, supposed to be a private road under open space development. In that regard.
It's a platted sub.
What's that?
It's a platted subdivision.
Yeah, but it had open space, so it was plotted as having a private road at that time. And that was the only thing that you could actually have a private road on at that time, was having an open space development. On that, you said it's a private owner that owns it. Is it that private owner that owns, because this has been to court, the two owners have been arguing, and the other owner does not want anyone going down that road to access the other piece of property. The two partners split up, from what I heard. And he's not able to access that from where it's at because it is a private road. It's a private road right now, right?
Yes, it's not a county
Okay,
road.
It is owned by a certain person, but it's not owned by the applicant.
No,
This applicant.
no.
So if it isn't owned by the applicant and it's a private road, he can actually shut that road off to where
No,
there's no access.
no, I actually can't, but I appreciate that. We went
He
through all
owns
that.
that road, he pays taxes on
Yep,
it.
I understand that. He cannot shut the road down.
That's what the judge actually said to you guys. He says you can put a toll road up there.
No.
That's exactly what the judge said.
No, it's
You
not
heard
true.
it. Yes, it did.
It's not true. I mean, I appreciate your attempt here, but
No, there's
the
no
fact of the matter
attempt.
is
You know,
they-
I'm just looking at, okay, this particular board is the wrong board. You guys shouldn't be voting on it. And another thing, I don't see anything as a public hearing on this agenda. This isn't a public hearing because it's not even on here.
it sure is
It's
posted.
right here,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, it's at the top.
Yeah.
But it's not labeled as,
Well, it's labeled as a public hearing, and it's
Okay.
actually posted as a public hearing. I have the notice right here. I appreciate
did
that.
the applicant actually pay for this?
Yes.
It was $640?
Right.
Did the planner look at it?
Christine did send it to Laura. And in fact, I had.
I didn't see
yeah.
any, over
Oh,
the
she-
paperwork that you gave me, I didn't see anything that the planner looked at it and gave you guys reviews of what.
Well, she didn't do a review. Christine wanted to know if it went in front of the board or if it went in front of the ZBA. And because it's a land division regulation ordinance for subdivision, it comes to the township board. So she clarified that with Laura. And then Laura even wrote the publication for me for that.
I guess that's all I got to say right now.
Thank you.
Go
it's actually, I think it's on the wrong board. You got-
Well, it's in the subdivision ordinance, Randy. Because it's a subdivision.
If everybody's done, I might need more than 5 minutes to answer all this.
As long as
First
it-
of all, the township, you gotta keep it clear, because the township got blindsided by all this as much as I did and all these homeowners. When we put the road in, not we, I spent $720,000 on 8 lots on Heritage Lane to the Lexer Group, and if you look at all the tax records, the property was never in Tom Hanson's name. It was always in the Lexer Group and V&G Excavating. Is that true or not?
That's true.
I spent $5,000 of my own money to try to resolve this, to get this road handled. Out of my own money, I bought 40 acres that was in foreclosure in 2012. 2014, see this letter? What does a green sign mean? Public road, means maintained by the Macomb County Department of Roads. In order for me to get building permits to build one house, they needed a letter, the township, the building department, saying that the road was accepted by the Macomb County Department of Roads. Is that fair? Okay.
Where is that letter?
Where's that letter? They got copies of
We have
it.
it.
So the road was accepted, okay, it said it needed a wearing course. The developer, D&G Excavating, Mark Wally, who owns the road, had $40,000 in escrow for the
Yeah,
wearing course.
Tom, please
Okay.
address me.
Okay, sorry. So, had $40,000 in escrow. What happened to that money? The road commission released it, right, John? So the money was released. Okay, now we find out how many years later? 8 years later?
8 or 10.
Yeah, 8 or 10. So I take them to court to sue them. I tried to get everybody on the street to sign this petition. Some of you did, some of you didn't. So we go to court, then what happened? Statute of limitations ran out. They let him go scot-free. He owns the road. He cannot put a toll there because, what is it, eminent domain?
Yep.
They said they cannot block us off because we've been using the road for over 6 years. So, trash pickup,
It's a right of way.
yeah, it's irrelevant. So, yeah. Am I concerned that if we get a major snowfall and somebody's house is on fire, or somebody has a heart attack on the street? Absolutely. And, addressing Mr. Breimer's concern.
We maintain that road.
Well, I know we do.
So don't
I-
stand there like you're.
No, I'm saying if-
that road. You do not do nothing.
If,
You do.
yeah, if you were out of town on vacation, or whatever, and the road wasn't maintained, or you had a 2-foot snowfall, in the middle of the night and there's an emergency. So, and I shouldn't have to maintain the road. I pay taxes. I bought on that lot. I bought the property in 2012. In 2014, 2 years later, they took the sign down. I bought on there myself because I believed it was a public road. I would never have bought the 40 acres and built my house there and pulled permits if I didn't know. So you say here density in wells, in all that. Okay, you're talking one house on 35 acres. What if the road was accepted by the Macomb County Department of Roads and it was extended and you had another dozen homes there? Now you're talking a lot more homes, a lot more abuse on the road, wells getting used. You're talking, there's one house already built there on 5 acres, which is mine, or 40 acres. I'm looking for one 35-acre piece. My son's probably gonna build there, and that's it. So we have all the documentation for the road being, it says the road has been inspected and satisfactory by the Macomb County Department of Roads. It's in writing, signed by Jim Morissette. We thought there was enough grounds to go on. Judge was gonna be slam dunk. And when you say $100,000 to fix the road, it's more like $200,000.
250.
250. We don't know. We don't, it's a good
Nobody
question.
knows.
Hey, I spent $5,000 of my own money to try, right, John? No, nobody else pitched in any money. He went to court with me every day, every time. Mrs. Nowicki showed up in court. Dominic showed up in court. We all went there, listened to the testimony. We tried to get this handled, and the judge threw it out because of statute of limitations.
Limitations.
Mhm.
Tom,
Yeah.
one thing I can tell you is when I was talking back and forth with the township and the, road commission, the township finally told me, they said, don't you think for a minute the town Hanson isn't in with the V&G or whoever the excavators are and knows exactly what's going on.
So
That was somebody from here that I talked to on the phone.
they can say
So-
whatever they want, V&G, okay, so you want me to address you? So V&G, okay, they develop subdivisions, they put roads in, they do site work. I hired them, okay? I didn't hire them, they owned the land, Lexer Group, if you look at all the tax records, from day one, Tom Hanson never had title to that property, true?
Yep.
Yeah. It was Paul Esposito and the Lexer Group and Mark Giswally and V&G Excavating. They put the road in, I spent $720,000, got a loan from First State Bank, you guys all bought from me, I built the houses, we got construction loans, built the houses. 8 years later, they changed the sign. When they want to say I had anything to do with it, yes, I had something to do with it. When we had meetings to design Heritage Lane and the size of lots, being that I'm gonna buy them, hell yeah, I'm gonna say, I want them this big, this side, I don't want the road just straight down, I wanted, an angled road to add character, so when you're, traveling down the road, I had say in it, I was here for the meetings. I never had ownership, never had partnership. Did I know those guys? Because I built in Sumter for a sub and they developed subdivision lots? Yeah, absolutely. Did they screw me? They screwed the township? Yes. So, and John knows, I tried my best and fought to get this resolved. But the judge threw it out, so.
I think the other thing that folks don't understand or don't know is the county's unable to work with us on the road because there's like 14 roads that went through this pre-approval process and never finished.
So what
And
we.
So if the county was to inject itself into the road, it would have to inject itself into all 14 of these roads. And the county steadfastly said they would stand away from it.
And he could testify to this. The first judge, I can't remember his name, said, this is shady. I'm gonna see that this road gets fixed. And he said, the road commission's gonna pay, V&G's gonna pay, Esposito's gonna pay, right?
Yep.
And then halfway through going to court, like maybe 4 sessions, it got handed on to another judge, O'Eiley or whatever his
Yeah,
name was.
I think the first judge might have been
Yeah,
Sataki.
so the first judge says this is gonna get fixed, this is fraud, this is, fuzzy.
They even had figures.
They had all the
How
numbers,
much
it's
everybody
gonna
was
get
gonna pay.
fixed. I thought, good, we got a win-win, and then they signed it to another judge because of conflict of interest, because Paul Esposito was doing work on a relative's house of the first judge. So then the second judge, we show up in court, and he says, statute of limitations ran out, there's nothing further, and we left. Huh?
So this
Yeah.
has been going on for how long?
This has been going on since 2014.
Fourteen.
Okay, so then the
Wait a minute.
township dropped the ball.
No,
No,
The
I'm
township
sorry,
got a
I'm
letter.
sorry. Thank you.
Township dropped
Tom,
Because you should have been able.
Yeah.
No.
The
So-
township should have stayed
don't
on
exchange with the public.
Until
Okay,
we
yeah, I got
got.
Wait until she's quiet.
I'm just passionate about it.
Wait until she's quiet. All right.
This is ridiculous.
Okay, so the township got the same letter, the township got the letter saying that the road has been inspected and
Yeah.
approved, because I couldn't get building permits to build one house until we had that letter. And we have it with, well, let me just back up, Jimmy Morissette, when he talks about 12 or 14 other projects in Macomb County, Jimmy Morissette was in cahoots with these guys, and he was signing off on these things prematurely, and he was escorted out of Macomb County Department of Roads by the Sheriff's Department because of what he was doing with these guys. Was he getting paid off on the side? He released the $40,000 escrow money, right? There's money in escrow to finish the wearing course, and for them to release the money was, when we found that out, we were like sick, like, where's the money that was supposed to put the wearing course on? But now the road is pulverized enough that to put a wearing course on it, it's not gonna do any good. They said, the road commission says the whole road needs to be pulverized and rebuilt, 8 inches and a wearing course.
Reconstruct,
Yeah,
Can I interject?
please.
Okay, Tom's not here because of the road. Okay,
Yeah.
Tom is here to request the variance, and
Okay,
I think we need to get back on that subject.
yeah, you're right.
I just don't, it's,
okay.
we
that-
understand the
But
problem.
here's an exhibit.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
anybody wants to see it.
Right.
So, from 2014, green signs means public road, and blue sign means private road,
Right.
which you don't have a private road ordinance.
Right,
Right.
we don't
okay.
allow it. Yes,
Right.
definitely.
No, and thank you, but it just, yeah, it was quite a process. And that's how,
Yeah. Quite a
I have a
process.
question.
Please.
The variance, if he's gonna put one house on 35 acres, why does he need to minimize the lot size to 111 as opposed to 165?
he's on a cul-de-sac, and when he put his house on the 145 acres, there's what, 200 and,
22 or something.
240,
Yeah,
222 feet?
right.
That measures around the cul-de-sac. Well, if he splits the 5 acres off on his own, he'll only have half of that 111 to put one house on the 35 acres. So it'd be really the entrance to a driveway.
But I mean,
Yeah, and one key thing is, I'm not changing the density, you know, the density, it's one house on 35 acres, one house on 5 acres. If that road was continued, it'd be a bunch of, you know, 100. No.
No, he's got the one home, his home is the original 5 acres. Yes.
Yeah, it's just gonna be one house on 35 acres, and hey, who knows, this road ends up getting potholes and pulverized. I'm not trying to get back on a road subject, but, you know, it's just one more house it's gonna have to pay for, maybe if it ends up being a special assessment. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but eventually that road is gonna have potholes in there, and it's gonna be nasty. It's just a matter of time, when we start, whoever's gonna plow it, and I'd rather not have a homeowner plow the road, I'd rather us all to get together and start an association and maintain it ourselves.
Yeah, let's,
Okay.
we'll talk about that at another meeting.
Yeah,
But everything Tom is saying about the process is factual, as far as the ownership. The letter from the county saying that they accepted it, and then turned around, what was a private road for 10 years, or it was a public road, county road for 10 years, and then they found out that it wasn't finished because of the people that gave the permission. So, yeah, it snake bit a few of us. The township's conundrum is that it can't spend money on a private property. It has to stay on public land. And the gentleman that has the property doesn't have the ability to put up a toll road, but refuses to sell the property for anything reasonable. 'Cause-
what the problem is, he lost the 40 acres in foreclosure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it shouldn't matter. I bought the 40 acres, it got foreclosed on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but I can't control that. He knows him. I mean, he's met him. He knows him.
Please.
Whatever happened to the open space?
It wasn't
And that's,
That was
I
all,
don't see the planning commission as wasn't
No.
as an open space.
that was
No.
never part
it
of the
was
thing.
platted as a
Subdivision.
subdivision.
Space in the back, you're allowed to put these houses in closer, they have an open space.
They weren't put closer.
There's no open space development. listed.
No.
No.
I don't know where that came from, but that was never,
No, it's,
The houses are over the minimum lot size.
yeah.
They meet their.
oh yeah, the houses are nice. It's a beautiful road and beautiful homes. Just, yeah. Who would have figured 10 years after they started plowing the road, they'd stop plowing the road? And the county is, steadfast in its non-participation, but, and I agree with Mary. The reality of the public hearing is to decide whether the township board wants to consider varying the property size based on the fact that he's on a cul-de-sac, and he wants to put one home on 35 acres, so he needs room to put in a driveway. No, it's one parcel. It'll be on, yeah, he can't split it. So, Steve?
Here, go ahead, no, sir. Sorry, I took more time.
Well, that's fine.
Steve Nickel, 22675 Armada Center. I guess my question or my concerns is, and I know some other people had asked about it, why did this not go to the ZBA, number one? I haven't heard the reason or the answer to that. I think that's a legitimate question.
The planner,
It's in the
Okay, but
subdivision ordinance.
how did we,
Because
like-
it's a subdivision.
Yeah, but how do we, but still, what's the intent of the ZBA? What's the intent of the planning commission?
Well, and I spoke with Mr. Hanson about that. Depending on what the board does here, he probably still has an opportunity to go to the ZBA to ask for a zoning variance. I said originally that I thought it was supposed to go to the zoning board of appeals, but our ordinance is actually written that the lot sizes and variances come to the township board, not to the ZBA.
Well, I think with the way that the procedures seem like they've been going lately, that I think we're trying to make sure that everybody follows procedures. I mean, I think that's kind of, I know when I sat on that side of the table over there, we really worked hard at trying to follow procedures. Seems like they're kind of deviating, but it sounds like after the last few things that have come through here,
This is,
now you're trying to bring them back in, which I commend that you're trying to follow.
It's written right in our ordinance.
But what I'm saying is that I think that that road is a pretty hot topic. Again, I know when I sat in Sarah's seat over there, I know we had Bob Sieber sitting there. I know Tom was here, his attorney was here. It's a very contentious road, and I think that there needs to be a lot more looking into. Maybe for some of the new board members, maybe if you go back and look at some of the videos now that we have that capability, as well as the minutes, and read up on some of this before we just go kind of giving the okay right here. It looks from perception sitting here that you bypassed everything and you went right to the township board. You circumvented the ZBA, you circumvented the planning commission. That's the whole premise of them being here. And just because it's written right there, I don't think the due diligence was done properly. And just because you say you highlighted it and you have it here, I think the perception isn't there. That's just how I feel about it. But it would be a good idea to maybe for some people to look at the way that road, the hot topics that have been there to protect these people that are here. Just something I might want to look at.
Thank you, Steve.
I've got 3 more public comments to read too.
Okay, we'll get to those in a minute. Are there any other public comments? Mary, go ahead and finish up.
I've got 3 more public comments. Armada Township Board, I cannot attend the Township Board meeting on April 20th, 2022. Concerning Public Act 110 of 2006, I am against changing the zoning from AG and the requirement lot width. That's from Ruth Dyker. And then, with concern on the variance that is being considered from Mr. Hanson, I believe that my property line will be affected if this variance is granted. Do I have to attend this meeting, or can I state this in email that I do not want this variance granted? I do not want a home built so close to my property line. Please advise my options. Thank you, Michelle Flipiak. The next one is from Amy Gillespie and Michael. I write to express my concerns regarding the variance request as proposed by the applicant, Mr. Hanson, which is expressed in the recently received registered letter. The letter also provides information regarding the public hearing referencing this matter scheduled to be held before the Township Board on Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. I purchased my home knowing that it was on a public road and that it would be maintained by the Macomb County Road Commission. Now the road is in unrepairable state, and neither the township nor Mr. Hanson have taken responsibility. The solution cannot be for the township to change the color of the sign and allow Mr. Hanson to continue to build homes, increasing the traffic and further degrading the road. In my opinion, both township and Mr. Hanson walked away from this issue, and now want homeowners on Heritage Lane to decide if we want to allow this variance. We need to fix the road, and then we can discuss further development of variances.
That was from,
Amy and Michael Gillespie.
are there any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to leave the public hearing.
And what time is it?
No.
7:35, I'll second.
Yeah, 7:35. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, if you want to make the motion, we can second it and debate it.
All right. I will make a motion to deny the request for two-dimensional variances to parcel 0228476015, commonly known as 71390 Heritage Lane, due to the fact that, 1, the variance shall cause both parcels to be divided in a manner that creates non-conforming lots and does not meet the minimum lot width of 165 feet. Section 17.04 of the Armada Township zoning ordinance, number 14, reads, "Parcels shall not be divided in a manner that increases nonconformity, causes an existing structure or site improvement to become nonconforming, or creates one or more nonconforming substandard lots." Section 8.03, area height and placement requirements in the Egg District states that the minimum lot width is 165. The applicant is requesting two 53.82-foot variances. The width of each parcel would be 111.18 feet. Number 2, Article 2, definitions of the Armada Township Land Division Regulations Ordinance are 201518. Number 24, lot width shall mean the distance from one side lot line measured at the minimum front yard setback permitted in the zoning ordinance for the district in which the subdivision is proposed. In no case shall the width of any lot at any point be less than 75% of the required minimum lot width. 75% of 165 is 123.75. The applicant is at about 67.38%. Number 3, Article 9 of the Armada Township Land Division Ordinance 201518 reads that no lot shall be split within a subdivision that results in the creation of a lot that is out of character of the size and shape of the existing lots within the subdivision. The variance would create inconsistency in the required lot width that all other parcels within the subdivision currently possess. Number 4, approving the two variances will cause non-conforming lots, which violates the zoning ordinance requirement and does not conform to the spirit of the ordinance. The denial does not cause hardship to the applicant as the land is currently developed with a home on the property.
Is your support?
I'll support.
Okay, discussion.
Well, I've been through every document 2 or 3 times, and I did my own research, and I think, Mary, I like the word spirit, and I think the ordinances is law of the land that we all live by within a community. We've created a garbage ordinance, we created a cannabis ordinances. I think we're pretty versed in that this year, and I'm proud of the work we've done. If any rules within our community hurt us, and I think a variance is exactly what is the opportunity for residents to come up and seek, and when I'm researching the information, and there's a myriad of issues, understandable, but I'm just looking at the variance itself. And my guidance stick would be undue hardships or particular difficulty. And those are the two that the compassionate side of me is wanting to understand what ordinance is this causing a person undue hardship or difficulty. And in my opinion, I just could not find it, and that's why I would support the denying of this motion.
I agree with some, but not all of the points that Mary made, just as far as a clarification on width versus frontage. I mean, if the road were ever extended, the proposed lots would then be in conformance, so it wouldn't be a permanent thing. And I can't help but think that for the residents' sake, the proposed split is 5 acres, which is larger than the other lots, and so you're essentially would in a sense could minimize the number of houses on that street. That being said, agreeing with Jason that as far as taking it's hard to take the history out of there, but if you take that out of there and you're looking at the hardship, the lot was purchased with no guarantees from the township that certainly on how many splits were available, and even though it seems unfeasible, in all honesty, if that road were extended, that would most likely be the appropriate time to get the splits, because now you meet the ordinance at that time, and you're not, you're not making a variance now with the expectation that it'll be in conformance in the future. That's not a good policy, so it is tough from Mr. Hansen's perspective that he feels tied here, but again, looking at the intention and what's changed since the purchase, being no changes, and his involvement from the beginning, I'm sure there's some, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but there's probably some knowledge that, you know, it's not done, so even if he had the expectation the road would be topped, until it was topped, there's no guarantees at that point, so I do agree that it'd be hard to approve a variance in this case.
Anybody else?
I just don't see how anything can happen until that road is fixed. These people were promised, you know, a public road, and it's not, it's deteriorating. You can't, I don't see how it can be approved without having a quality road. And like you said, when the road, and if it got extended, I agree with Jim, you know, that does change the dynamics of the area, and I just don't think that what we have here now and what's happening here now warrants that it would get approved. I would also vote in favor of denying. There's a lot going on, and until things are taken care of, or if they're taken care of, I don't see it. So.
Well, I think that if we were to make a motion to consider a variance, we'd be setting a precedence of smaller lot sizes, no matter what the case is on any property. I do believe that it would set a precedence, and 111 feet, I understand the cul-de-sac, it's a turnaround. The 111 feet is pretty small if we start getting into lots in the township. You know, okay, I bought a property that's only 300 feet wide and I want a 250-foot lots. We almost couldn't say no after that point. I also agree that I don't think that the township board itself should be the word on variances to the ordinances, which is why we have a zoning board of appeals. I think the township is obligated at all costs or at best opportunity to adhere to the ordinances. And if the ordinances don't work in the individual's favor, the zoning board of appeals is there for that, if you will, being the final word. I even spoke with Mr. Hanson about that it would seem that this would be you know, we'd have to prove a hardship case to the zoning board of appeals to get the ordinance changed. I don't think it lays in our ability with subdivisions myself. Those, you know, what's a subdivision? 2 houses, you know, on a property. So, yeah, I feel awkward compromising the frontage of a properties.
Anything else? I'll take roll. Swikey, I vote to deny, yes. Murray?
Yes.
Hidrock?
Yep.
Getzinger?
Yes.
Grimby?
Yes.
I would refer Tom to make a case to the zoning board of appeals to work outside the ordinances. I think you have you've made legitimate efforts and you have legitimate concern to try to develop the 40 acres at least with one home. So, but everything you said is matter of fact, and I appreciate you coming in and putting that on the table. We did go to court, and it was on your dime that we went to court, and it was very frustrating. We couldn't get something done for you, and for the taxpayers on the block. It's a incredibly frustrating time.
Well, I'm gonna sell in a few years, so it'll be their problem.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
All right.
Tried.
Yes, you have. You have. I won't take that from you at all.
No, thank you all, everybody, for your time.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing at 7:44.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.